Hello everybody from Windy City, Chicago. It is a little bit windy and it's kind of chilly, but I am here at the Kennedy Park in the south side of Chicago. And behind me is a very simple but also very, very striking Korean War memorial. It's very different because it's a circle, but we'll explain why it is designed the way it is. But today, I would like to introduce you to my greatest inspiration, Tahi Stanfield, whom I have met more than 10 years ago on Capitol Hill.
Right.
Now, tell us the story.
Hi. I was born in a deep mountain village in 1940, which was in Manchuria, which was a Korean.
Oh, she needs to say it louder.
Okay.
Well, most of us have hard of hearing.
The veterans want her to speak a little bit louder.
I was born in a deep mountain village in Manchuria in 1940, which was a Korean guerrilla hideout. My father provided food and weapons to the Korean guerrillas. And right after World War II, my family decided to return home, which was Daegu City in the southern part of Korea. But my father and one of my brothers stayed in Manchuria to wrap up the business. And my mother, my brothers and sisters left for South Korea. That's how when we saw my father and my brother Ung-hee the last time. That's how my family was divided. During the war, we didn't know my father and my brother moved to North Korea in 1950. What we learned later was that shortly after they arrived, the Korean War broke out. And my brother Ung-hee was conscripted into the North Korean army and fought for North Korea, while my three other brothers fought for South Korea, and one of them, Guki, was killed. When the war was over and Ung-hee returned home, this time the 38th parallel was drawn, and my father and my brother became trapped in North Korea this time. And we learned that my father had passed away a long time ago. But at the request of Prime Minister Kim Il-sung, they made a movie about my father in North Korea, and I have a copy of the movie. So that's as close as my family could come up, to reunite with my father. We don't know whether Ung-hee is still alive or not. But there used to be 100,000 divided family members in the United States. Most of them have passed away. The remaining divided family members are in their 80s and 90s. And we are fighting against the time. We don't have much time left. Well, having said that, anybody can see how prosperous the South Korea has been. While the North Korea is wherever it is now, and we thank the American Korean War veterans eternally. Without your sacrifice, without your family's sacrifice, the South Korea wouldn't be where it is now. And personally, my family wouldn't be in the United States working for the divided family members right now. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tahi is a retired librarian. I met her 10 years ago on Capitol. Look at this.
In DC.
She's a tiny lady, but her heart and her passion. Wow. I remember I was young myself,
thank
but
you.
I remember seeing her. We were at Congressman Mark
Kirk's
office, and I was just trying to help them get a meeting, and I didn't know much, about what she was doing. But when I heard that the Korean War separated 10 million Korean families between the North and South, and they still haven't been able to see one another. But as you know, there have been family reunions between the North and the South. However, like she said, 100,000 Korean Americans, because we're American citizens and our government does not have a diplomatic relationship with North Korea, Korean Americans have been excluded in the family reunion. And that is why we're hoping and praying that the current peace talks would be successful, because not only does it give hope for those families who have, missing in action, those who are unaccounted for from the war. As you know, there were 8,000 POW MIAs, as well as I believe 750 from Illinois that are still unaccounted for. But there are families of at least 100,000, and now, like she said, many have passed away. But like Chahi, she has not given hope to maybe, reunite with her brother's family in the North. And I hope that, again, that the current peace talks would be very successful. And she's been a champion for the voiceless, for those divided family members. And I just thank you so much for your courage. And because for the past, I don't know, almost 20 years, I've known her for only 10 years, but for 20 years, that's what she's been advocating for. And her husband Jerry is here, and I was always amazed. I said, wow, who is she married to? Because she would be on Capitol Hill all the time. But so thank you, Jerry, for your support, right? And so I think they have a romantic love story, which I will say for the next time. But at this time, I do want to introduce you all to the grandpas who are here, and say hello to some Korean American leaders in the community. Jane and her husband, I'm so sorry, John, and
Joe O'Brien, first Vice Commander, Chapter 23.
Yes. When did you fight in the Korean War?
I never got to Korea. They sent me to Alaska.
Oh.
I spent 2 years in Alaska. I was in the service from June of 51 to June of 53.
But I always say, you know what? You were lucky. You were lucky.
Yeah.
You weren't one of the 1789 from Illinois who died in the Korean War, right? So
I lucked out.
And that is why you're serving your comrades and making sure that they're remembered, right? Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Norm Sackman. I'm a member of the KWVA up on the north side of Chicago, and I served in Korea the entire year in 1952.
That was during a hard one too, right?
Well, basically, I was with the 1st Marine Air Wing.
Oh.
So I was not a combat troop, but I was there during the war, though.
Well, again, thank you so much for your service, and it's very special. He looks so young that I had to ask him, like, did you serve in Korea?
Yes, I did. My name is Richard Agemura. I served in Korea partly 1952 and part 53.
Yes. I do want to share a very unique story later and get your story, but I do want to also acknowledge that many Asian Americans fought in the Korean War, unbeknownst to many people. During a time where there weren't as many, Chinese Americans, Japanese Americans, and I really appreciate it, because it was still, as our country was as making progress as a nation, there was still discrimination at the time, and so you had to fight on the home front and on the battlefield. So thank you so much for that. I do want to say that.
I don't know if you're aware, there's a Japanese American memorial in Korea. When I went to Korea for revisit, we visited that memorial, which was rather interesting. That there were quite a few names, Japanese American names on that memorial.
Oh, well, where is this? Because some people are in Korea and maybe they could go visit.
I don't remember where, because it was
I will
a revisit.
Google it. Somebody Google it right now.
We went to several places.
Okay. And last but of course not least, President Charles. I bothered him so many times. I'm like, he lives on the north side of Chicago. I'm like, you have to come down and meet me. And he's here.
My name is Charles Simic, Itis. I'm the commander of Post 25, Chapter 25 of the Korean Veterans in Chicago. I served in Munsan-ni, Korea from 1952 and 1953. I was with the 84th Engineers, and we built the bridge that's still standing there. It's the Freedom Bridge over the Imjin River that leads to Panmunjom.
Wow.
And so when the truce was signed, we escorted Korean prisoners back across the river, and we brought our troops back on our side. And so anyway, it was a very unforgettable experience.
You know what would be unforgettable and wonderful if we could cross that bridge, the one that you helped build, to North Korea, when the peace, is permanent on the peninsula. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your service. Okay, he's not my grandpa because he says that he's too young to be called one, but he played a very instrumental role. So please introduce yourself and what you know about this memorial.
My name is Neil Mass. I'm the current president of the Windy City Veterans Association, and I've been a member since its inception in the early 80s. This memorial here.
Oh, okay. Let's show them.
Was conceived in 1986, where a Korean War veteran said, this is a forgotten war. There's nothing dedicated to the Korean War veterans. Right? I was a Vietnam veteran, but these Korean War veterans didn't have anything to say why I was in the forgotten war. I fought in the war. So, took 2 years to get donations, and Marble Company, Maurice Memorials, helped us build this thing. And 2 years later, in 1988, built, dedicated to the Korean War veterans, with as much information we could put on there, including all the statistics that are on the back of that.
Oh yeah, let's take them to the back.
Yes.
Do you want to come join us to the back?
I don't think you guys saw the back. See those numbers?
I love this. It says, though others have forgotten,
That's it.
we shall remember always. The veterans of the greater Chicagoland area, September 15th, which is Incheon Landing.
Oh.
MacArthur, Incheon Landing in September 15th. He landed the amphibious...
That was in 1950.
Yes, 1950 of September 15th. Yes, maybe that was I don't know. I have all these Korean War facts,
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that may have been kind of, I don't know, a nice coincidence, but that is it. So, yes, we are here because we don't want to forget our veterans. We don't definitely not want to forget those who are not here again. And in Illinois alone, 1789. Did you know that Illinois suffered the 5th largest casualty in America, according to states? So that was a huge, huge. Number one is California, yes. And while of course we don't compare, different states, Illinois did pay a hefty price for our freedom, for Chinese freedom, right? And
Sorry.
No. Well, yes, and are just all the Korean Americans that are grateful. But I do want everybody to know that when I go and say thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Okay, everybody, we'll start our ceremony.
Thank you.
50 states. This is my state number 20. 70 city, 90-day journey across America to promote peace, right? We need peace, Chai, right? And honor veterans. Thank you. Remember 77.org. Bye.
Thank you.